Hey everybody, I'm Howard, and this is Otter's Retirement Corner. So I'm going to continue a story that I told a week or so ago about my Medicare Social Security horrors. And if you didn't see that video, try to make this story as short as possible. I retired in the middle of 22, and when they look at your charge for Medicare, and specifically for Irma, IRMAA, income-related Medicare adjustment amount, based upon your salaries going back 2 years, they may charge you an Irma. In other words, when you pay your Part B, they'll charge you an additional amount if you made enough money, and Part D, if you're taking part in that, they'll charge you an Irma for that. So even though they have an appeal process where you can go back and say, hey, I'm not working anymore. Here's a letter from my employer, which is what I did. I'm not earning a salary anymore. So even though my income looks like it was really high, it's no longer going to be that high. So please don't charge me an Irma. I went through that appeal process. They were charging me the second level Irma, which is about 170 some bucks a month more. And when I appealed it, they took it down to the first level Irma, which was 66 or something more, even though it should have been zero Irma. And I tried to fight it over the phone, but I just got nowhere, so I gave up, and that's what I said in my other video. So I paid that first level Irma for the 6 months in 22, for all 12 months in 23, and for the first month of 24. And then they hit me with a bill for February of $682 for my Part B Irma and $131 for my Part D Irma. 2 calls to Medicare, 1 call to Social Security. No one could figure out what the heck was going on. So they said go to the Social Security office, which is the SSA, Social Security Administration, determines your Medicare bill. So, I dreaded that because I've heard so many horror stories about going to those offices. So in the Tampa office, there is no system for appointments like there is in most of the other offices. So it opens at 9. The woman I talked to suggested getting there early and getting in line. So I did make the trek Wednesday. I drove, it took me almost an hour to get there because of typical morning traffic. I got there at about 10 after 8 o'clock, and there was already a line of about 15, 20 people. Some of them, unbeknownst to me, were still waiting in their cars. So I got in line. Security guy came out at about 8:30, made some announcements, don't carry any weapons inside, and he'll let in 1 person at a time. As soon as he came out, people came streaming out of their cars as if, they had been there the whole time waiting in line, and they just rushed in front of the line. Some people complained, but, they weren't hearing anything. So, and to my amazement, I thought this line would look like the movie cast of Cocoon. I thought there'd be 60, 70, or 80-year-olds trying to work out Medicare and Social Security problems, but about 70% of the people in line were clearly between the ages of 18 and 25, mostly Hispanic. My guess is they were there to start Social Security accounts and get their Social Security cards, which didn't occur to me at first, but that must be what it is. So they let you in one at a time. You go to a kiosk, you type in information about who you are and why you're there, and they give you a little tag that says a number on it, and in essence, that's your place in line. So, it took me about 10 minutes to wait to get into the building, go to the kiosk, put my information in. I get number 114, which is in essence number 14. And it was like a 2-tier system. One was for English speaking, one was for Spanish speaking. So you're either in the A group, English speaking, E group for Spanish speaking. And then, about 9 o'clock comes around and they start taking people in, and it looks like they're doing it in the order the people came in. So that was good. It was shockingly organized. I was very surprised by this based upon the things I had heard. No appointments, just first come, first serve. By the time they started taking people, the lobby in there, the waiting room was full with probably about 100 people, which is maybe 30 or 40 people who really needed to see someone and their families. Some came with 2, 3, 4 other people. Don't know why. I would have liked company, but I brought a book instead. But lo and behold, at about 15:20 after, my number gets called, and they send you to a window. There is no big office. There's just along the perimeter of this waiting room and down the halls. There's windows, and they're protected with plexiglass slats, so you can talk to the person, but can't. You probably can't reach an arm through very far or jump through. It's obviously a security issue. But the interesting thing is you're kind of out in the open. The people in the front by the lobby, everybody in the lobby can hear what they're saying. Down the hallways, everybody in those other little cubbies can hear what you're saying. Not very personal or private. Anyway, the woman I went to couldn't be nicer, couldn't have been more intelligent and knowledgeable about what was going on. Since you punch in information about yourself when you get in there, she knew who I was immediately when I sat down, asked me what the problem is, told her in like 5 seconds she got it. Oh, here's why you got that, $900 plus bill for February. Here's what happened. I explained to her, the process. She didn't even want me to go through the whole thing. She picked up on it immediately. And she said, okay, it looks like they charged you to Irma based upon you being single rather than filing your taxes jointly. And there's different tiers, probably, just like in income taxes, there's different tiers for how much you have to pay based upon joint or single. So she said, if we just take it based off of your income tax return, they charged you double in 2022. The Irma should have been half of that. And I argued the Irma shouldn't have been there at all. She said, yeah, well, they have to go back and look, and even though they took your appeal, okay. So I paid, twice as much as I should have in 22. And then she said, for 23, okay, you shouldn't have paid an Irma. For 24, you shouldn't be paying an Irma. So, everything you paid for 23 and 24 in Irma's is going to be refunded back to you. Yeah. And we're going to give you half of what you paid in 22 back to you. So, it was a bigger success than I possibly could have imagined. It went better than I possibly could have imagined. And, all the horror stories I heard were really false. Even though there was no appointment system, it was well organized, it went well, people seemed happy, I was certainly happy. The couple of people I talked to who had been there before said, yeah, it pretty much runs like this. And then I wondered why they had to be there before and had to be there now, but that's their problem. So the takeaway from this is, as much as you want to get things done online or on the phone, it doesn't work with Medicare and Social Security. You will wait for a long time, and you probably won't get the correct answer. And the woman I talked to at the office there said, we understand that. So thank goodness I got the woman I got. She appeared to be a supervisor because in the middle of my case, she went and helped with somebody else. And just solve the problem quickly. We'll see. It'll take 2 or 3 weeks, she said. We'll see what actually happens. I'll let you know if they correct it correctly. That's always an issue. But bottom line, trust your Social Security Administration office for Medicare and Social Security issues. Good, happy story. So, as always, subscribe, like, comment. Again, tell me your experiences. This isn't any earth-shattering video where I'm breaking new information or new ground, obviously, but just wanted, to follow up on what I said I would follow up on. Good story, happy day. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.